Post-op, I work a lot with people, 2 or 3 days after, but I don't go near the incision. If I can get your lymph system moving really well and stimulate sort of the movement and you've had a tummy tuck, I don't have to touch the incision to have an impact on it. The lymph system is connected. If I can
It's
get your lymph system started one spot, it's going to move it everywhere else.
in the beginning, it's not time to even touch that incision.
No.
It's healing. When
Yes,
when the incision, I will start working with it at about the 4 week mark.
4 to 6 weeks,
Sometimes
depending on the depth of the scar. Yeah,
it depends on the person's healing process.
you got
Then
it.
I'll start working with that scar
Yeah.
to help it heal pretty.
And
And
to
then,
help the lymph find its way through the scar or under the scar or over the scar, because the
yes,
lymph still has to find a way to get to the nodes that it's trying to get to. Exactly. But the first 4 weeks, you don't have to, if I get too close and I do that stretch, I'm going to pull those edges apart, which is going to make your scar uglier, like
mhm,
flat out. Everybody, like, that's what aesthetics is all about. Is you got to make it look pretty. Well, then you don't want me touching your scar. You want me to help all the rest of the system help create almost a vacuum effect to help move that fluid away, but I won't touch the actual scar for 4 to 6 weeks.
right. And
Yeah,
then we work to make that scar look pretty.
absolutely.
And sometimes when the scar has healed enough, I notice that sometimes the surgeons will pull them really tight and they
Mhm.
can't lift their arms. So
Yeah,
then we start working with more of the connective tissue and
yeah,
being able to get that full range of motion back in the arms.
yeah,
And talking about making the scar look pretty. Also, let's make that belly button look pretty in the case of a tummy tuck, right?
yeah. But if I take it from pretty, which I understand, especially if we're talking cosmetic surgery, but in my practice, I do see a lot of cancer. So I see mastectomies and radiation scars. And my job at that point is to help the lymph find new pathways because their pathways have been disturbed. If there's been lymph nodes removed, that changes the whole game. Now they're stage 0 lymphedema. My job is now to, help prevent massive amounts of swelling and everything going into either the affected limb or the area and to work with the scar tissue. But there's rules about working with scar tissue with oncology. There's rules about radiation therapy. And now my job is, yes, prettiness, but function. Like to have somebody who can move their shoulder or can flex their leg or what have you, right? So understanding when it's safe to treat and to have the correct skills to treat. Lymphedema, you can't just do hands-on. Once they get to a certain stage of lymphedema, lymph drainage techniques are not enough. That's where being a lymphedema therapist is even more training, and you need to know how to do bandaging, and you need to understand compression garments, and oh my gosh. And I spend 7 days just not even with the hands-on because we do that in level 1, 2, and 3. I spend 7 days showing them the art of like bandaging and adapting their techniques to a new lymphatic pathways and to help support, this system that's now compromised. So I can't emphasize enough. I've done talks on it before too about the different levels of training and it makes me sad when I go back and look because I taught massage therapy for 12 years at different colleges, universities, and how very little we taught lymph is actually what made me leave teaching massage is because there was just I had teachers saying, "Oh, you need to talk about lymph. Go talk to Robin because she believes in that." And I was like, "Hell yes, I believe in that. Let me show you the science that shared with me. Let me show you all the research that helped me believe in lymphatics. I would love to talk about it."
You
You
know,
know, my kids learned about all of that and the lymphatic system at a very young age.
I mean, this is like Newton's law of gravity. It is.
It just is. And I really encourage that like if I were looking for a naturopath or an osteopath or a dentist, I'm going to research. And if they're in a regulated profession, then I have a certain amount of belief that they've met those criterias, they've gone through the proper lines, and therefore everything's good. If they're not in a regulated profession, I have some work to do. I need to research. I need to find out where they went to school. I need to learn about the profession to a certain amount to understand. And that That is the unfortunate part. But, you know, there's a lot into the lymphatic system and, you know, not all YouTube videos are accurate. And not everything posted on Facebook is true.
I see a lot of lymphatic videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I see such a wide variety of wrong.
But maybe
And
it's just we haven't seen it before. And
and
if
then
we
I say
haven't,
that's good, but
yeah,
I see a lot of like crazy stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
I
And then
know.
it talk about what you see on Instagram, but
Well, but then for me, like I'm always skeptical. And then I will ask. I'm like, I would love to see the science behind what you're doing. So when I see something really outrageous, I'm actually that person. I will go and type on it. I'll be like, I am really interested in what you're doing. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Would you be able to share the science behind it and why it works and where you learned it so I can understand it better? And you will be not surprised that I don't get a lot of people responding back to me because they don't. And so I admit I do not know everything about the lymphatic system. I am constantly learning about it and I love, 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 expanding on it. And if somebody has new research that I'm missing, please, I would love to see it. I would love to learn why some of those techniques are okay because they don't make sense to me. And they don't make sense to all my friends that I ask who are also instructors or teachers or developers of, the techniques that, you know, are out there. So I am open. You want to show me some research? I'd love to see it.
and I've had conversations with literally some of the world's leading physicians in lymphatics, and they don't understand. They're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, they certainly know a whole lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And when they're saying it's not making sense, and they're the ones who are actually the names on the research papers,
Yeah.
they've been around since Methuselah.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you're talking to Thomas Edison, who's in theory still alive today and has been in light bulb technology since the beginning to today. And they're saying, I don't, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how a light bulb even works.
Right.
That's not light bulb. That's something completely different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm having conversations with people like that. And they're like, no, that's something that's just
Yeah.
made up. It's a, it's a buzzword.
Yeah.
It's misleading the public. It's all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But
And I think it's like anything. You need to do, you need to do your research. You need to sort of look and see, if it's too good to be true, it might be too good to be true, right? So.